Welcome to another year. Happy 2023, and I hope you're doing all good and well. And welcome to another year and career and money talk with I Ephraim. This year is full of wonderful things that I've planned ahead, and I hope you find it exciting. I've been busy writing, of course, and resting. In December, I wrote some books, some quick books that you can read in a very short time and still get value. I wrote one for children, I wrote one for teens and young adults. I wrote one for small businesses, and and I wrote one for people looking for job, how to answer interview questions, and you would have seen that a lot on my page, trying to promote so that people can be aware of what's going on. Thank you again and for joining this first edition for 2023, and this is going to be once in a year affair going forward, just so that we don't um, give too much information or cause information overload for what we are trying to make you aware of. So this edition will be discussing one very crucial topic, which I've titled "How to Manage Your um, Family Obligations with a Small Salary." That's something I love us can relate with, and how we are trying to grapple around balancing work, family commitments, and also managing that little money that comes in from the work that you spend all your time doing, because the obligations that you have is so high and your salary or what you earn is this low. So you have to try to balance and manage both. I know that managing family finance, or if you call it that way, family obligations, it's daunting endeavor to do, but with the right tool and things that you can implement, practical tools that you can implement to your daily or monthly spending, you'll be able to fine tune and have a more comfortable and balanced family life and finances, of course. So in this particular video, I'll be sharing 5 tips, and just to mention one or two things in each of the five, because I went really detailed in my books. If you looked at my book, Let's Talk About Money and Managing Family Finance, I have elaborated on all of these points that I'm going to be sharing with you today. Okay, so what is the first thing you should do? What I usually tell people is prioritize your expenses. That is number one key that you must do. Must prioritize your expenses. There are some expenses that you cannot do without spending on every month. One of those is your rent, either rent or mortgage. So whatever you do, except you don't mind sleeping on the street, you have to pay a rent, or maybe you got a free house, then you don't have to worry about rent. But if you're like me and you have to pay rent or mortgage, then that has to be a priority. You have to see, have where to put your head first before thinking about any other thing, and that's one. The other expense that you can't do without is food. Someone said you can actually stay without food for 7 days, I think, but afterwards you need to get something to eat, otherwise you start having some medical complications that you probably spend more money trying to resolve than preventing them. So the second item is food. Then the third very important point is healthcare. There is no way you can do without spending money on healthcare. Either you spend it now or you accumulate the issues and spend later. But because it's unpredictable, it's very unrealistic to postpone the issue of health. So I usually advise people to plan your health. If you're in a country where the healthcare system is not free, then plan for a year. You can take up an insurance policy and pay monthly subscription on it, because health is very important. Don't say, oh, I don't feel sick, I'm young, I'm strong, and all of that. No, because sickness doesn't usually announce itself when it comes. So it's difficult for you to predict that, oh, I'll be sick in June or July, so I can save all my money now, spend on other things. You don't know that for sure. So what would I advise? Put some money aside for healthcare, either as insurance or as a buffer and some savings that you can use for health emergencies. But usually you'd find some insurance anywhere in the world anywhere you are in the world, where you can always pay some subscription monthly to cover yourself and your family. So once those three items are taken care of, your mortgage, your food, and your health care, then the other things can take the bottom list. So those are your three top priorities. The other things could be maybe TV subscriptions, maybe eating out, things like that. Those can be below the line items, like they say in accounting. So that's one thing. Prioritize your expense. Otherwise, you probably see that you're struggling month on month or year on year trying to resolve these three issues. Once the priority is gotten right, every other thing can fall in place. So that's number one. Number two, I try to avoid this topic every now and then, and that's budget. I don't like to talk about budget because it sounds like it's a strict task that you have to follow, but it's not really. It depends on how you're presented with it. The budget is supposed to be a guide. Excuse me. The budget is supposed to be a guide that helps you make decisions. You already know what to spend your money on, but once you have it as a budget, it helps you to guide your thinking and know that every month this is what I need to spend money on, this is where I need to buy stuff. So once you have that budget, it guides you. Again, be a little flexible. Don't feel like £200 or $200 is what you must spend on food and you must buy it in a particular shop. While that is good, you can be a bit flexible with that, getting different varieties of options. Of course, the rent is not compromisable, and your insurance and healthcare, but with the food it can be a little flexible. But once you have that in your budget, then you can put other non critical items that you enjoy also in your budget. So I always tell people to plan their budget in line with your income. So if you earn a weekly income, budget per week. If you earn monthly income, budget per month, because that money comes monthly. So if you're doing a monthly budget, you buy the food for a month, you even get more discount when you buy bulk. But when you buy bits and pieces, you spend more money. So that's what the budget helps you to do. The third point is look for ways to reduce your expenses or costs. I talked about food because housing is almost non-negotiable, but you can cut your coat, like they say, according to your size by living in areas that are commensurate to your salary. If you earn a particular sum, you know how much people in earning that amount where they stay in the city that you live in. So if you want to stay in a high brow, your salary says no, you can't stay there, then it's better off taking staying in places where your salary can cover. So that is key. So that is a way to reduce your cost. If you feel like you need to move houses, please do move houses. If you feel that there's a particular store or shops where their groceries are cheaper, Don't be too strict. Oh no, it has to be this vegetable, or it has to be this particular condiment or ingredient. Otherwise, the food will not be nice. Not necessarily. So you can experiment and cut some of those expenses. Another thing you can do is probably cut off some of your monthly subscriptions and things. Go through all the things you spend money on subscription and see if there are some things that you can cut down on. And some people have Amazon Prime and they have Netflix and they have some other cable subscriptions just because they want to get so much entertainment. Whereas they probably don't even use some of these subscriptions month and month. So stick to one. You can't watch everything. You can't get all the entertainment you want. So, but if you find some programs interesting on Netflix, for example, go ahead and do it. Then another thing that, well, is still permissible is probably share subscription. Someone pays half, you pay half, and share password, things like that. Until it is not legal, then you can continue to do it until they cancel it and say it's not possible or it's not ethical to share password. But for now, people still do it, and you can cut your expense by half on subscription, if you want, and that's a very good point to note. That's number 3. Number 4 is look for a way to increase your income. So your income is at this level and you need to get it to that level. There's so much you can really save on. There's so much you can really save on. You can cut, but to get to the point where you can't cut anymore, you just need more income to come in to breathe. So if that's the case, then look for a way to increase your income. If you need to start a side hustle, do it. If you need to ask for a pay rise, do it. If you need to further some education or get to learn something new to increase the chances of getting a higher paying job, do it. But have a plan by all means. Try to increase your income. If you need to get an MBA, please do. Go ahead and do it. Because eventually you are making an investment in yourself that will transform into earning higher salaries for you and your family. So that's number 4. The last but not the least is getting help. It's possible that you have tried everything from what I've mentioned before: prioritizing your income, trying to work with a budget, cutting costs, increasing salary, but at the end of the day, you still need help. You can actually seek help in your local community, depending on the country you're in and what help is available. You can ask around, just know what help the government is providing. In the UK, for example, there's a crisis with the cost of living, with the energy price and gas price and all of these things going up. But the government has been able to provide some cushion to families that are struggling with a need or the other. So if you feel that you need some help, at least just to put things together and go through this phase of your life, do reach out to people or the government support that are close, so that you can get the support you need. There is no point trying to carry all the load just by yourself, because you don't want to feel like you're a burden to someone. Sometimes we all need help in our lives just to get to the next level. So those are the tips. Like I said, these are just a bit and piece of Managing Family Finance, a book that I wrote in 2022. I wrote that book in 2022. So I would encourage you to go grab a copy of that book. There are other finance books that I've written that you probably find useful, and you find them on my website and also on Amazon.com. Do send us a DM in case you need, you have questions that you want to ask, or things that are not clear. You want to do one-on-one consultation on how to manage your finance or family finance. You want to do a plan for a year or 5 years or 10 years or lifetime plan. Do reach out to be able to spend some time together to discuss your peculiar issue. Because my advice or what I'm sharing is just the tip of the iceberg, it's not considered a financial advice because your situation might be different. So it will be proper to reach out personally if you feel that you need a more detailed analysis of your situation so that we can advise you clearer. Thank you for joining today's episode, and I'll see you again in February. Have a great end of the month and see you next time. Bye bye.